What's up, YouTube? This your boy, B-Boy Facts Johnny TV, and tonight I'm going to do my AEW Rampage review on highlights. So you guys can do, hit that like button, it helps you to algorithm. Subscribe to my channel, tap that notification bell every time I premiere a brand new video. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch down below in the description. And let's get started. We're kicking things off with Bryan Danielson versus Nick Jackson. This match was really good. From there, we head straight down to the ring for our opening match of the evening here on Rampage, as Bryan Danielson makes his show debut against one half of the Young Bucks. Bryan Danielson's theme hits and the crowd goes nuts as this bout will serve as the first match of the show. He settles into the ring and plays the fans a bit as the commentators sing his praise. With Bryan Danielson in the ring, his music cuts off. Nick Jackson's theme hits, and out he comes, accompanied by Matt Jackson, another member of the Elite. As he settles in the ring, highlights are shown of the recent actions by Super Click. The bell sounds and we're off and running with this one. Nick Jackson takes Bryan Danielson down early and controls him on the mat. However, after he spent a little too much time getting cute, Bryan Danielson takes over and knocks him out on the floor. Bryan Danielson follows him out with a take suicide before climbing to the top rope and following up with a shotgun dropkick. Back in the ring, Bryan Danielson continues to work Nick Jackson over with submission work on the mat. The referee argues with him, and Bryan Danielson points out he's got until the count of five. We see Bryan Danielson pull Nick Jackson back in the surfboard submission, and then he goes for the Dragon Sleeper, but Nick Jackson claws at the eyes of Bryan Danielson to free himself. Back on their feet, the two trade shots, but Bryan Danielson gets the better of them with some European uppercuts. Nick Jackson hits the ropes and blasts Bryan Danielson with a huge kick that shift the momentum back in his favor. The crowd is chanting something so long that it can be made out, but Taz reference on his counter as a complete sentence that they are chanting Bryan Danielson get Jackson with a butterfly suplex and into a cross arm breaker, but Nick Jackson escapes. Bryan Danielson continues to work over Nick Jackson's arm. Afterwards, now we head to a mid-match picture-in-picture commercial break as the action continues. As we settle back from the break, we see Nick Jackson is full control of this match, now taking it to Bryan Danielson as the crowd tries to rally behind him. We are showing footage of Matt Jackson hitting a spear on Bryan Danielson on the floor that saw the momentum in this match shift into Matt's favor. Nick Jackson starts blasting Bryan Danielson with kicks while he is grounded. However, he hawks up and starts no-selling them. He gets up and spits in Nick's face before going into a fire-up offense comeback as the fans cheer him on. Now he shows Nick how to kick are supposed to be done as he blasts him with them over and over again. Bryan Danielson nearly secured Nick Jackson in the libero lock, but Nick Jackson breaks free and the match continues. He kicks away at Nick Jackson on the ring apron outside the ring. Rolls until Jackson moves and Bryan Danielson kicks the steel ring post hard. Nick Jackson follows this up with a release German suplex on Bryan Danielson on the hard part of the ring apron. The action continues with Nick Jackson fighting back into the lead, but Bryan Danielson turned the tide and shifted the momentum back into his favor. He gets Nick Jackson on the mat and secures a very unique double arm submission on the Young Bucks member. He gets the tap out and the victory in his first match on Rampage. The winner of the match, Bryan Danielson. This match was good. Alright. Elite retreats after numbers advantage goes out the window. Once the match wraps up, we see the Elite hit the ring, presumably for a post-match attack on Bryan Danielson. They crowd in the ring, and then Christian Cage and Jurassic Express hit the ring to even the odds for justice up. With the momentum gain now even, we'll see a big brawl break out with all of these guys. Kenny Omega quickly escapes out of the ring and doesn't want anything to do with this. Eventually, Kenny Omega decides to slide into the ring, but it's met with a breakdown from the babyfaces. He heads out and the Elite retreats. A message to Brian Cage from Ricky Starks. Now we shoot backstage to a special message from Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook of Team Taz. They mention Brian Cage and then send things to a video package where we see Ricky Starks driving a car and talking about being sick of Brian Cage, thinking because he's bigger than most then he can beat up most people. He is out to prove him wrong. We head to another commercial break. So we get CM Punk says it's time to get down to business. We return from the break and Ricky Starks joins the crew on commentary. They send us to a special message from CM Punk. He talks about how his experience is what gives him the edge over Powerhouse Hobbs at Grand Slam. He says he's happy to be back, but it's about time to get down to business. He warns everyone who steps up to going to sleep is always on the menu. So we get Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa in the Triple Threat match. This was decent. We head back inside the Blue Cross Arena and we hear the familiar sound of Jade Cargill theme music. The undefeated woman contender makes her way down to the ring for our next match of the evening here on Rampage. Cargill settles into the ring and then her music dies down. The theme music for Nyla Rose his and the former AEW Women's Champion makes her way out and head down to the ring accompanied by Vicky Guerrero. With those two in the ring, her music cuts off, and now Thunder Rosa's entrance theme hits, and she makes her way out to a nice reaction from the fans and Rochester. The bell rings, and we're off and running with this Triple Threat Women's Contender bout. We see some back and forth action from all three women, and then Thunder Rosa hits a nice drop kick off the top rope that takes both of her opponents out. On that note, we head to a mid-match commercial break as the action continues. When we return from the break, we see a trash can get involved in the mix. We see Thunder Rosa take over temporarily, but Jay turns her inside out with a big spine buster that slows her down, slows down her momentum. The action continues, and we see Nyla Rose set Thunder Rosa on the top rope as the competitors point out the tables set up on the floor down below. Thunder Rosa end up putting Nyla Rose through the table, then hard way off the top rope. Mark Sterling hands Cargill a chair, and she starts wearing out Thunder Rosa with it. Moments later, she scores the pinfall victory. The winner of the match, Jade Cargill. This was a decent Triple Threat match. Malachi Black with a message from the Nightmare family. We shoot to a quick message from Malachi Black, who addressed his ongoing rivalry with Cody Rhodes and the Nightmare family following his latest victory over the American Nightmare during Grand Slam week. After this, we head to another commercial break. Mark Henry's pre-main event split screen interview. After the commentators run down the lineup for next week's AEW show, we shoot to Mark Henry, who is ready for his pre-main event split screen interview with Jack Evans and Orange Cassidy. Mark Henry brings up Jack Evans not seeming thrilled about this match. Hardy says everything is fine, and it was actually Jack Evans' idea. Mark Henry asks Orange Cassidy about the hair versus hair stipulation, and Orange Cassidy seems clueless. He says he won't lose since it's important and walks off. It's main event time, folks. So we get hair versus hair match. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. This was pretty good. Pretty good. We shoot back inside the Blue Cross Arena where the familiar sound of Orange Cassidy's theme music hits, and the freshly squeezed one makes his way down to the ring for our final match of the evening. He settles into the ring to a rock star reaction from the Rochester fans. His music cuts off, and now the theme hits to bring out Jack Evans. Jack Evans heads down to the ring, accompanied by Matt Hardy. The bell sounds, and we're off and running with the hair versus hair showdown. In this week's AEW Rampage main event, we see Jack Evans back off as Cassidy approaches him. The referee breaks them up, and while distracted, Matt Hardy hits the ring. After he Jack settles back at ringside, Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans start finally going at it. Orange Cassidy starts off in the offensive lead and immediately gets into trademark style by putting his hands inside his pocket and hitting his wimpy shin kick as the crowd reacts enormously to each shot. Orange Cassidy grabs a handful of Jack Evans' hair and swings him around in the ring over and over again. Hardy gets involved again from ringside, and this time it plays a big factor in the match as it helps Jack Evans takes over the offense lead. He hits a big 450 splash off the ring apron onto Cassidy as we head to a mid-match commercial break. When we see settle back in from the break, we see Cassidy we see Cassidy in the beginning stage of a comeback attempt. He fires up and hits a big crossbody splash off the top rope for a near fall. Jack Evans cuts Cassidy's momentum off with a Northern Light suplex and a Mochoku driver for a near fall. He then hits a standing sky twister for another pin attempt. A big DDT from Orange Cassidy shifts the offensive momentum back in his favor. The fans chant "freshly squeezed" as Cassidy fires up. He hits a big spot for a near fall, but Jack Evans kicks out, and then we see the Blade and the Butcher and the Bunny heading to the ring. More members of the HFO come out, but so do the Best Friends and the Dark Order, forbidding a human wall in front of the ring so HFO can't get involved. Orange Cassidy hits a big orange punch and scores the pinfall victory. The winner of the match, Orange Cassidy. After the match, Jack Evans gets his hair cut. When the match wraps up, we see some brawling between the heel and babyface factions, and then finally the show closed with Jack Evans getting his hair cut by Orange Cassidy. The Best Friends and others lived in the ring in front of the Rochester fans and attendants inside the Blue Cross area. -1 of the Dark Order gets in the center stage. Final moment in the ring. A big hug gives the people what they want, and then the show wraps up. That's how this week's show goes off the air. Thanks for joining us. Now I'm gonna say this before. I said this before. I enjoy watching AEW Rampage tonight. That's all I gotta say from there. But comment down below what you guys think of AEW Rampage tonight. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. And tap that notification bell every time I premiere a brand new video. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch down below in the description. And I will see you guys next on my WWE SmackDown review and highlights. This your boy B-Boy Facts Johnny TV, and I'll talk to you guys later. And I'm out of here.